Alright, 8th graders. This is our video on square roots and finding square roots using two integers that are smaller and higher, and also using your calculators that you got today. And this will be square roots where it's not a perfect square that's under the square root sign. Alright, now just a quick review. Look at this square that I've got drawn on here. We know it's a square because I got the tick marks that show every side is equal, and I put the 90-degree angle symbol. So the idea of the square and the square root is you want to think about what does one of the sides have to be of this square. That's the square root. So we know the area is 9 inches squared. We know that we multiply the side by itself to get the area, so that means what number multiplied by itself gets us 9. That's going to be 3. Try this again. Going to be 3 inches. We could express this way as well. What's the square root of 9? What is the side of a square that has an area of 9? 3. Okay. Now, I listed right here perfect squares, and you should memorize at least these and the higher ones. So anytime these are under the square root sign, you can find the actual value, and it will be a number that's not a decimal, doesn't have any sort of decimal run on. It's just a whole number, an integer. Now numbers that are not perfect squares, like this example A, there's a 7 under the square root sign. Notice that's not a perfect square. 7's not a perfect square, so I cannot figure out, at least right now we don't know the number that is the square root. That is the length of a side with the area of a square. That's 7. So that means that this square root is not going to be an integer. There's going to be a decimal value. Now, in this first part, the directions tell us to estimate what two integers the square root is between. So we want to put, we want to think, what's the square root that's a perfect square that's right below this. So looking at square root of 7, I would think square root of 4. That's the one that's right below it, and you can look up at the list. And the one that's right above it is square root of 9. And then I'm actually going to think, okay, what is the value of this square root? The square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 9 is 3. What that means is that the square root of 7 is somewhere in between. It's probably closer to 3 because 7 is closer to 9. Okay, so let's look at B. Think about what perfect square root is right below 30. Look up at your list if you're not sure. 25. That's going to be the square root we use, square root of 25. And then when the one that's right above it, square root of 36. And it's not just any that's right below it and any that's right above it, it's the one that's directly above it. So you couldn't use like the square root of 16 as the one that's below it. It's got to be the one that's closest, but it's still less. So we think, okay, what's the square root of 25? 5. Put a comma. What's the square root of 36? 6. That means the square root of 30 is somewhere in between 5 and 6. Now, C is a little harder. If you don't know the perfect squares that are up there, you could use a calculator. So like I've got my calculator here. The way you could do that is just do like, let's see, I know 10 is 100, but let's try 11. 11 times 11 equals 121. So that might be right below, but I should check 12 just to make sure. 12 times 12, 144. All right, I'm pretty sure 144 is going to be right. So I'm going to go ahead and write that here. Square root of 144. And now I need to try to find the one right above it. So I use the square root of, I use 12 times 12. Now I'm going to use 13. It's going to be the one that's right above it. 13 times 13 equals 169. Okay. And now I'm going to do the actual square roots of these. And since I just did 12 times 12 to get 144, I know the square root of 144 is 12. If I didn't remember, what you could do, again, go back to the calculator, you type in 144, press the square root symbol. It might be a little caret sign like we have here, or it could be the word square root, and look, 12. And then the same thing with 169, it's 13. Okay, you're going to do D on your own. Now, when you're doing D and all of these on your homework like this, you do have to list this um, these square roots that are right above and below. Just you can't like on B, you can't just do 5 and 6. You have to make sure you list the 25 square root and the square root of 36. You need to show that. So do D on your own, listing the square roots that are right below and right above, and then their integer values. Okay, now we're going to do this using a calculator. This is where it gets really simple and really nice to have a calculator. So go ahead and get your calculator in front of you if it's not there already. And the way you're going to figure out each square root, you just put in whatever the number is under the square root first. So on number 1, I put in 7. And then whatever your square root button is, go ahead and hit that. And then this is our square root value. Notice, like we have up in A, it's between the value of 2 and 3, as it should be. And then in your directions, it says we want to round to the nearest tenth. You see that here, nearest tenth. So, based upon what my calculator says, I'm going to either stay at the 6 in the tenths place or go up to the 7. And since to the right of it is a number less than 5, that means I stay. So, the square root of this will equal to, actually, you don't want to use the equal sign because we're not being exact, we're rounding. So this is the about symbol. So square root of 7 is about 2 6/10. Now we're going to do the same with the rest of these. And we can compare them to our answers above. So 30 square root, round to the nearest tenth. So 4 is in the 10th spot. The number to the right of it is greater than 4. It's 5 or greater. That means we go from 4 up to 5. So this is about 5 and 5/10. And like we have above, it's between 5 and 6, 5 and 5/10, so that makes that one accurate. We know it's right. Okay, number 3, that's the one you're going to do on your own. Number 4, why don't you try doing it on your own right now, and then, so go and pause and do it on your own. All right, so number 4, again, we the same way. Go to our calculator. Oops, give me 1 second. Go to, great. Okay, go to our calculator, put in the 150, the square root sign is after that, 12 and 2/10. We're staying at 2 because the number to the right of it is less than 5. So this is about 12 and 2/10, and 4 lines up with C above, and is 12 and 2/10 in between 12 and 13? Yes. So the connection's there. Okay, you're gonna do 3 on your own, and that's it for this video. See you guys tomorrow.